Learning to love yourself after a lifetime of self-hatred is a whole process, journey, lifestyle, and movement. Let's talk about it. What's up, everybody? It's your favorite hood healer. It's your favorite hood high priestess. It's your favorite motivational dominatrix. It's your favorite auntie, captain, goddess, king in the place to be. And I want to welcome you back to my channel. You could be anywhere in the world. As a matter of fact, you are somewhere in the world, and you're also sharing a little bit of time and a little bit of space with me. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for all of that. Your time and your attention is valuable currency, so I appreciate every like, every share, every moment you share with me. I appreciate you. If you like what I'm doing, if you like what you see, if you are feeling this, if you are feeling me, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and make sure you hit the notification bell so you can keep up with all my happenings and shenanigans and goings-ons and things. Now that that's all finished, let's get into today's video, shall we? Let's get into today's video, shall we? All right, y'all, we are gonna get real up close, deep, and personal today. So this is the point in the video where I issue a trigger warning. I will be speaking to abuse that I have survived. I will be speaking to body dysmorphia, and I will be talking about my history and my experience with disordered eating. So if any of those things are things that you ain't feeling talking about today, you don't want to see things about those things today, go ahead and click off of this video. It will be here for you to revisit if you feel inclined to, and I have other content for you to look at and partake in if this isn't the video for you. Now, for the rest of us, let's get into it. This video was inspired by a couple things. This is a subject that I have actually been wanting to speak about a lot more publicly for a while. I didn't really feel the push until recently, but two things really inspired this video. First off, I want to give a shout out to a creator on TikTok who goes by the name of Auntie Tyler Thanos, I believe. I believe that is their current username on there, or it has been a username on there. And I believe that their pronouns are they, okay? This video is also inspired by the comment section in a video I did a couple weeks back where I spoke to loving my body, and I just very publicly gave thanks for my body and really spoke to how deeply I was in love with myself, how deeply I stood in love, how deeply I have fallen in love, how deeply I am absolutely in love with not only my body, but myself as a person. And how that is a really phenomenal feat for me, because I have come from a space steeped in self-hatred due to the abuse and things that I have experienced. So I got some very interesting comments under the YouTube comment section under that video. I also got some very interesting comments because I posted it in other places on my other socials. I got some very interesting comments under those sections as well. So I wanted to make this video to address those comments. In the Auntie Tyler Thanos video, they speak to their struggle with disordered eating. And this was a TikTok video. This was a very raw video. It was just a very raw, truthful video where they spoke to their experience with disordered eating. It was a very important video to make because that creator is Black, and they are in a bigger body, they are dark skinned, and there are places where they present as femme, or they're perceived as femme. And a lot of us who are women, who are femmes, who are gay, and also male, all genders, those of us who are Black and who have experience with disordered eating often do not see a lot of our stories reflected. There's not a lot of help for us. When we look at who is helped, our reflection is often not seen in that demographic. It was an important video because that subject is not spoken to, in my opinion, enough in the Black community. I appreciate that video and applaud their bravery and their courage in sharing that very vulnerable aspect of themselves, because that video helped me in my continual healing with my own disordered eating, and I know that it helped others, other Black femmes, other Black women, other Black people, other Black non-binary people, other Black gender fluid people, other Black masculine people, to know that they are not alone in their struggle, in their space when it comes to disordered eating. The video was important, and it spoke to some very specific things around disordered eating that happen in the Black community, that are exclusive to the Black community. There are a lot of us who have experienced across the board, be from Black to brown to Asian to indigenous. There are a lot of us who have experience with disordered eating, and there is very general experiences that a lot of us share, but there's also some experiences that are exclusive to culture. And Auntie Tyler Thanos, they really spoke to a lot of those things that we need, in my opinion, we need to speak more to. Now let's switch to the comment section. In the comment section of the video where I spoke very candidly and in a very raw space about loving myself and the journey that it has taken to love myself, I had a lot of comments in the comment section of people saying this is, you know, they applauded me and they celebrated with me. But there was also a few comments of people stating that this is where they strive to be, that they are not yet in a space where they love themselves, where they're not in a space where they love their body. They're not in a space where they care about their body. They're still struggling with self-love. They're still struggling with self-acceptance. They're still struggling with loving their bodies and loving themselves. Those two videos have inspired me to be more transparent about the back end side of what it takes to love oneself, what it has taken for me specifically to love myself, what it has taken, the journey that it has taken me to really appreciate my body, my mind, my soul, my spirit, everything about me. Self-love and self-acceptance, just like healing, is not a destination. In my opinion, it is a journey. It is a journey that you must decide to go on every single day. It is a lifestyle. It's something that you must commit yourself to. It's something that you're never going to stop working on. It's not a destination. You will never arrive at this grand space. Now, there are spaces on the journey to self-love and acceptance that you will arrive at. There are places that I've arrived to that I will never backtrack from. So that is a very, very true space, but there is no grand arrival. You will always work on self-love. You will always work on self-esteem. You will always work on it. It is a journey. It is a lifestyle, because there are always things at play that want to tear you down, that are working. There are systems in place that benefit capitalistic ventures that are in place to help you hate yourself. There are systems in place that are working to make sure you don't like who you are, because it benefits capitalism, because it benefits colonialism, because it benefits white supremacy. So loving yourself is a full-time job. Learning to love yourself is a full-time job. Healing yourself is a full-time job. Accepting yourself is a full-time job. It's a whole journey. It's a whole journey. And there are lots of bumps and lots of rocky places. Lots of hurt and uncertainty along that journey. I am truly in a place where I love myself. I accept myself. Are there places and things that I need to improve? Yes. Are there things that I'm looking at health-wise that I need to address and improve? Yes. Are there things about my personality, my body, things that can be improved that I would like to improve? Yes. And I love myself with all of that. With all of my flaws, my imperfections, I have arrived at a place of consistent and beautiful self-love. I've arrived at a place of consistent and beautiful self-acceptance. You know, a big part of self-love is self-acceptance, because I'm going to tell you there are days when you will not love yourself. If you deal with chronic pain, if you deal with chronic illness, there are days when your body becomes a prison. If you are dealing with PTSD as it lives in your body, there are days when you will not see past your body in regards to it being a box that is keeping you in. When there are days when you don't, when you are struggling with self-love, when you do not love yourself, self-acceptance will help you not regress to a point of hurting yourself. Self-acceptance will help you regain that self-love back faster, quicker, stronger. Self-acceptance. We do not speak enough, in my opinion, to how important self-acceptance is in the journey of self-love and all on its own. And those two journeys are beautiful. They can be heartbreaking. The healing is deep. And sometimes it hurts, but it's worth it. But it's worth it. This journey is not for the faint of heart, and there are ugly parts that you are made to confront inside of it. But it is worth it. But it is worth it. So today we're going to talk about a little bit of the ugly from my perspective and from my experience. We're going to speak to, I'm going to speak to spaces where I didn't love myself. I'm going to speak about where this all began. And I'm going to do several videos about this because I think it's important that we speak to these things. I think it's important that we share our personal experience, if only to let other people know that they're not alone. And also, I am not a believer in toxic positivity. There is so much that is thrown out in the name of self-love, and so much of it is so frou-frou and fake and saccharine and sugary and actually poisonous. I do believe in the power of love. I do believe in the power of positivity. I do not like toxic positivity. And a big aspect of healing is the ugly parts. And we're not going to be able to appreciate and get to the pretty, to the beautiful parts without accepting, processing, and acknowledging the ugly. So let's get into a little bit of the muck and mire of my story. A round of applause and congratulations are in order for me. It has been over a year and a half since I have engaged in destructive, disordered eating. I don't have an exact date. I don't have an exact number, but I can tell you it has been, at the very least, 1 year and 8 months since I have engaged in destructive, disordered eating. So for those of you who don't know what disordered eating sounds like, it sounds exactly like it sounds. Eating that happens in a disordered fashion. So my disordered eating flavor of choice was binging and starving, or is, I should say, binging and starving. I have been engaging in binging and starving myself since I was a teenager. This behavior definitely started around about 12, 13, and it definitely got me into some very dangerous territory. I am continually and consistently surprised that I am still alive. I'm very grateful for my body. I did some very destructive things to it back in the past, especially in the name of losing weight. And I'm very happy that I am here. I picked up binging and starving, interestingly enough, from after school specials, learning about it from documentaries. I learned about it from watching a lot of documentaries about bulimia and anorexia when I was young. And I learned about starvation. When when I would see people starve themselves, that sparked something inside of me. Now, binging is not something that I was attracted to. It's not something that I wanted to do, but it definitely began to happen as a result of using starvation to control my weight. And so I wasn't eating in the right way. And my method was just basically not eating anything, and the things that I ate being really healthy. So only eating fruit or salads or things of that nature. Early in my later in my teenage years, about I would say 16, was when diet pills became very intriguing to me. And 17 was when I started partaking in diet pills. There was and I forget the name, but it started with an H, but it was a very dangerous ingredient, but very potent ingredient in a lot of weight loss pills back in the day, but it was very dangerous for you if you even just taking it in regular doses. And it's currently off of the market. They have taken it off of the market because it was literally giving people heart attacks. But I remember back in the day, it was huge, and I cannot remember the name of it, and I'm glad I can't remember the name of it. But I remember when I would take diet pills, my heart would race, and I abused diet pills. I abused diet pills for the suppression of the appetite perspective, and for the energy perspective. I liked being able to go, because starving yourself, I would be lethargic, I would be tired, I didn't have energy. So I liked the diet pills because it gave me the energy to go. I liked the diet pills, and I used them along with starving myself. Yeah, I like the diet pills. I liked them, so I abused those all, in my early 20s. I stopped abusing diet pills my late 20s. Like, I probably was completely done at about 26, 27 was when I stopped being done. So 10 years of abusing diet pills. And during that time is when they banned the H word, I forget what it is, from being used as an ingredient in diet pills, because people were literally dropping like flies. I remember times when my heart would be racing out of control, where I wouldn't be moving, and my heart felt like I had ran a million miles, and it was just beating out of control. I'm so grateful. Thank you, heart, for hanging on. I'm so grateful I did not have a heart attack. So grateful. So grateful. My binging, let's talk about how that all started. My history with disordered eating began as a result and as a response to the abuse that I had experienced. It got really bad around about 15 years old. I started like about 12, 13. It got really bad when I was 15 years old, when a bunch of memories of the abuse that I experienced when I was living with my mother came forth. When those memories were unleashed and unlocked in my brain, that's when it started getting out of control. That's when the starvation methods picked up, and I started researching other ways to lose weight and be thin. I also engaged in a lot of disordered eating because I didn't feel safe. When I lived with my mom, I had survived sexual assault and sexual abuse and molestation. When I was living with my father at the time, from about 8 on, I experienced a lot of physical abuse at his hands, mental abuse, emotional abuse, and spiritual abuse. And so my increased eating was in response to the abuse that I experienced. It was comfort, but also it was a way I ate for comfort. Food was comforting. Because of the abuse that I experienced, I was isolated in a very specific way. I couldn't really share my experience. The little friends that I was allowed to have, I wasn't empowered enough to share my experience. And I also recognized that there was nothing that they could do. So I sought out food as a comfort, but I also sought out food as a way to get bigger, so that I wasn't attractive, and I wasn't, so the wrong people wouldn't find me attractive. Even though I wanted to be perceived as attractive, I learned early what being perceived as attractive could get you: unwanted attention. And so I gained, I ate to gain weight so I would be unattractive to the wrong people. And I also gained weight so I could be bigger. I wasn't going to the gym, but I wanted to be a bigger body so that I could be stronger. I equated being bigger to being stronger. So I ate in response to that. I ate in response to the abuse that my father heaped down on me. And I want to say this, even though I was engaging in this behavior, I look back on pictures of me during that time, and I was thick, but I was not excessively obese. I wasn't that big. But that is also when my body dysmorphia began. My father was relentless in telling me how fat and ugly and worthless I was. He was relentless. And once he discovered that did mess with me, once he discovered, and because he was a pro at perfecting how to hurt someone, once he really discovered that landed with me, once he really discovered that affected me, he honed in on it. So my body dysmorphia literally comes from my father telling me that I was hundreds of pounds overweight, that I was sizes that I wasn't even close to. So that right there is the seat of my body dysmorphia. My father literally telling me about my body, telling me untruths about my body, and me believing them. And because of this body dysmorphia, I ate even more. I ate even more. And then I also got deeper into starving myself. So I was a mess for a very long time. I was a mess. I hated my body because it had been abused. My body was made into a prison by all of the people who had taken advantage of it. I hated it. I absolutely hated my body because of the abuse that it had endured. I hated my body because I was told to hate it. I absolutely hated my body at every level. At every level, I hated myself. At every level. The hatred that I was indoctrinated with, the hatred that I was taught, the hatred I was abused into was potent and powerful. So potent and powerful that after a while, I didn't need anybody to tell me anything about myself. I was the most perfect abuser. I became my most perfect abuser. I became my most intimate abuser. And I picked apart this body for years. I picked it apart mentally. I picked my psyche, my mind, my spirit apart, my soul. I picked myself apart. I picked myself apart. I literally picked myself apart. I began to pick at my hands. I picked at my feet. I picked at my skin as if I was on drugs, and I wasn't. I hated my body so much, I just began to destroy it in very little and big ways. I was destroying it internally, and I was destroying it externally, and I was just chipping away at it. I hated it. I hated it. I hated my body and my entire existence. So this is why I celebrate so thoroughly. This is why when I say I am amazed at where I am now, when I say I am thankful for where I am now, when I say, like, thinking about that, I really cannot believe how deeply I hurt myself. Thinking about the level of hatred I carried, that my own family taught me. The level of worthlessness I used to feel. Because of all the things that was done to me. I hated this body. It was a prison for so long. It was a prison for so long. It was a prison for so long. And now it's not. To have my spirit live in a temple. This body is an altar. This is a temple for my most beautiful spirit to reside in. It's a walking, moving altar. My body is a breathing altar. And I love it. I love it. I had to fight though. I had to fight. I had to fight so hard for this body. Loving yourself is a journey. It is lifetime work. I had to dismantle and decolonize so much. The system that is in place that makes you hate yourself is perfect. It is perfection. It is no wonder that you must spend years separating yourself from it. The work of loving yourself is hard, and you will have to wade through a lot of ancestral muck and mire. So much of my self-hatred didn't even begin with me, and it didn't even begin with my abuse. It didn't even begin with my conception. It began hundreds of years before me, when colonialism hit the shores of Africa. So much of the battle and the journey of self-love, so much of it is fought on so many different planes. Loving your body, loving your spirit, loving your mind, loving your heart. Those are all separate journeys that are intertwined and intimately intersected. This has been years of biting off small chunks, big chunks, processing that self-hatred, releasing, embracing, unlearning, relearning. There are so many moments when you have victory, and there are so many moments when you lose. Being able to go a year and 8 months without engaging in destructive, disordered eating. I just thought about the fact that it's been 4 years since I engaged in secret eating, because that was also part of my shit. I love to secret eat. I love to secret eat. It's been over 4 years. I didn't even think about that. Yay me. I didn't think about that. That's dope. That's really dope. That's really dope, you. That's really dope. But I don't even know how to say it right before that. But I know this, the journey of self-love is not easy. I could not have gotten here without all the times I tried and messed up. Each time I confronted my secret eating, my disordered eating, there were times when I was super successful, and there were times when I just was not. But each one of those times I consider a success because I kept trying. And all of those little defeats that I experienced, all the times that I tried and messed up have helped me to get to a space where I am 4 years without secret eating and over a year and 8 months without engaging in starving and without engaging in binging. And you know what? If I were to relapse tomorrow, I would still consider that a victory, because that's the longest I've gone in my adult life. That's the longest I've gone in my adult life. And if and when I fail, not calling it, but also not judging myself. If I fall, what I have proven with myself is that, and to myself, is that I am the king of getting knocked down 9 times and getting up 12. I am the king. I'm confident that I'm gonna keep going, that I'm gonna keep fighting for it, because I'm committed to this. This is lifelong work. Every time, every step I make in the name of self-love has extended and improved my life. Every step is worth it. Every victory, every defeat is worth it. And one thing I will not do is judge myself on this journey, because it's a journey. And what I know about journeys is you win some and you lose some, but you play for the long haul. And if you play for the long haul, you will have more wins than you will have losses. I made this video, and I will make other videos getting more in depth about different aspects of my process, but the point of this video is to be transparent about where I came from, and to be transparent about the fact that this is ugly work. It's hard work. It's not for the faint of heart work. This is deep work. You will have to confront yourself at so many levels, and then you will reconfront yourself at so many levels. So much to unlearn, so much to relearn, so much to repair, so much to look at. This is lifelong work, but every step is worth it. Every step is worth it. I have rebuilt something that was broken. I have replaced something that wasn't even there. I have built things that I wasn't given, and I'm grateful for all of it. There are going to be people out here who sell you self-love, and they have never in a day experienced insecurity. They've never experienced crippling anxiety. They've never experienced true betrayal from their body. They don't know what it is to live in a body that's a prison, for reasons, for a lot of reasons. But I do. I bled. So many of these stretch marks are my scars of victory. They speak to how this body has gone on a journey of different sizes for different reasons. And I'm still here. I fought to love myself so deeply. It is a revolutionary act for me to be a fat black femme who loves their body so much. If I do nothing else on this planet, I make my ancestors proud. This body isn't, I'm not a work mule. My body isn't a statistic. I'm not a number. I'm a person, and my body is beautiful. None of this is original. All of it came from an ancestor, from the color of my skin, to the bones, to the shape of my face, to my hair texture. This was all somebody else's. And a lot of those people who gave me these things were made to hate themselves. When I love myself, I love my ancestors. I pour so much love and healing into them. And when I love myself, I am leaving behind a legacy of love. There are people behind me who won't have to heal, because I healed it already. This is not an easy journey, but it's worth it. Ooh, it's worth it. And again, there are days where you're gonna bite off a big chunk, and there's gonna be days when you bite off a little bit. There's gonna be months when you bite off a big chunk. There's gonna be months when you bite off a little bit. There's gonna be years when you bite off a big chunk. There's gonna be times when you bite off a little bit. Every piece of this work is worth it. There are gonna be times when you make 19 steps forward and you regress 18 steps back, as long as you keep moving forward. That's the key and the point of it all. If you are suffering with disordered eating, know that there is a light and the struggle is real. Good Lord, the struggle is real. Do not judge yourself. Self-accountability is where it's at. Be self-accountable and be very real. But do not judge. Give yourself grace. And every battle is a worthy battle. Whether you win or lose that battle, you are a worthy fighter in that battle. And every battle, whether you win or lose it, is valuable. And every victory is paved from your victories and your losses. There is a light. There is a light. I'm not scared of losing this battle. I used to be. I'm not scared of it. I have so much faith in my determination and my dedication. And I'm absolutely addicted to the benefits of loving myself. So I expect to fail sometimes. And I'm not gonna judge myself. I'm going to get up and I'm gonna keep going. I expect to mess it up sometimes. And I'm not gonna judge myself. I'm going to dust myself off, learn the lesson, and keep going. If you're struggling, keep going. If you're having a good day with your self-love and self-esteem and self-acceptance, I'm proud of you. Keep going. If you're having a bad day with your self-love and your self-acceptance and your self-esteem, if you regressed and messed up, this too shall pass. Show yourself some grace. Dust yourself off and keep going. All right, y'all. This was a heavy video. Heavy. For the people who didn't make it to the end of this video, gold star for you. Even though you're not here to see this. Gold star for you. If you participated in any of this video, thank you for listening and holding space for me. And I pray that this was something good for you. If you made it to the end of this video, double gold star and a green one too, because this was a lot and it was heavy. And I went there and I'm gonna keep going there. I'm gonna keep going there. It's important for people like me to share their stories. If nothing, it's a cathartic experience for me. This isn't a damaging thing. Sharing my story isn't re-traumatizing me. It's actually, it helps. It helps. And so I hope and pray that this helps someone else. That you, if nothing, know that you're not alone. And know that, yeah, it's hard. And someone else out there knows how hard it is. But I'm also getting some good results. So don't stop. Don't quit. You know the drill. If you like what I'm doing, if you like what you see, if you're feeling this, and if you're feeling me, if this content benefits you, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. And go ahead and, for good measure, hit the notifications bell so you can keep up with me. Just in case no one has told you today, thank you for surviving everything that has come to end you. A lot has come for your neck, and you're still here. Thank you for supporting me. Your likes, your views mean the world to me. Sharing means the world to me. Thank you for following me on other platforms. Thank you for the gifts from my Amazon wish list. Just thank you for everything. And on that note, you have a good day, a good morning, a good evening, a good afternoon, a good mid-morning, a good mid-afternoon, a good middle of the night, whatever you are encountering this video. Have yourself a good moment. Have yourself a good week, a good minute, a good day, a good month, a good year, a good decade, a good life. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace.